This stream contains fast-flashing images that may affect viewers who are susceptible to photosensitive epilepsy or other photosensitivities. Viewer discretion is advised.
Let's go!
Buena, weón!
What a shot! Ay, ay, ay!
The stakes couldn't be higher today as two teams will move forward into the playoff bracket and two teams will have their year come to an end. Hello, everyone, and welcome to VCT Americas Last Chance Qualifier, coming at you live from the Riot Games studio in gorgeous Los Angeles, California. Of course, I'm Golden Boy here, joined by Mimi White and a very special guest, a good friend of us. We have Baby Bay here from FaZe. Baby Bay, good to have you, my friend. First and foremost, how's your summer been, man? How you doing? You doing good?
It's been relaxing, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been able to actually go to the gym, get some sun, even though I'm a little white right now. I promise you, I was a ghost.
You're white?
I was looking like you. I was looking like you.
It's awful, my gamer skin.
Yeah, right. Go get some vitamin D, damn it.
Yeah.
Oh, man, boy, look, it's a joy to have you, and we're going to have a good time today. It's going to be awesome. Baby is going to be with us throughout the entirety of the broadcast. But you know what, though? Kind of want to see what's been going on with the rest of the squads. Let's check in, see what they've been doing over the break, right? And a little thing we like to call, Where Are They Now? VCT LCQ Summer Break Edition. I mean, I don't know if there's an edition. I'm just rolling with it. But let's start off first. I think we got Crew, I think, is it? It'll be in the wide wall over here, Baby Bay. Let's see what the rest of the teams are getting to, because apparently Crew went cruising. Ah, you see?
Oh, my
yeah.
Chibi. That's
Chibi.
just, that's a fan silly type dash.
This guy orchestrated this.
Look at that. They have a pink boat, you know?
I mean, that's
It's
not
pretty
a cruise. That's a yacht.
That is definitely
I didn't know.
That's
I didn't
the
know they
Sergio
sailed
Aguero
like that.
yacht.
Also, I don't know if dolphins are that close to the yacht, and I'm almost certain it's not legal to have your boat that close to shore.
It's actually a beach in this photo. That's why they're all on deck. They have to evacuate in a moment.
Yeah, it's in Sergio's private island. That's actually where it is. Okay, well, you know what? That was Crew. This is Furia here. They actually stopped by the zoo to free the big cats. Nothing can go wrong, obviously. Not like anyone's ever been leopards eat my face Reddit, you know? But that's basic. Have you ever been to the leopards ate my face subreddit?
Don't go there.
What are you browsing?
No, it's...
This guy's in the trenches.
Oh, yeah, what can I say? What can I say? So yes, foto de familia. Look at that. All the cats.
Oh,
yeah,
I love those
the
hats.
hats. Actually, yeah, MW's era has a hat that is just like that. Glad he busted it out, you know?
Got some cats, got some hats.
It's great. Oh, next up we have 100 Thieves. You know, they're trying to keep cryo cool in the sun. Oh, look at
Oh, that's legit. Yeah, they were definitely there in their jersey.
Yeah, they were.
I love how he's just a fan right here.
Dude, Stellar
What's it even plugged into? Is it wireless?
That's
It's wireless,
right.
man.
Guys, you're at the beach. Smile, you know?
They're having no fun at
No
all.
fun. Bang hates holding on. It's the worst day of his life.
That is the most depressing looking ice cream I've ever seen held by another human. Okay.
That is Bang when he thought he was going to China.
Yes.
His honest reaction.
Okay. Well, lastly, we have Sentinels. They had a backyard barbecue, and always professional
What?
Coach Kaplan. What is
What is that dog?
The glizzy is outrageous.
That is, I mean, yeah, that is a hot dog right there. Oh,
Their
my-
coach is looking a little different.
Yeah.
What? Wait.
Yeah, wait.
What the?
That's not
What the?
Captain.
Yeah, that's Sean, Coach Mike. I mean, Coach Sean. But look at Marv. Why? Like, firstly, the ball cap not fitting his head.
Why do you call it a ball? It's called a swim cap.
ball cap.
It's not to be bald.
gonna lie.
It's to protect your hair that you
Whatever.
have.
Same difference, man. Okay. What does it
Pretty
do? It
drippy.
achieves the goal.
He's pretty drippy right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he is.
drip.
He looks miserable though. God, inside of the. Okay, I'm good.
He looks like a model.
We can go ahead and move on from
right
this.
there. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, guys. Well, yesterday we kicked things off with Crew scoring a massive win, the first win of the year, and it came in the LCQ against MIBR. But now they find themselves in serious territory here, because they're going to have to take on Furia. And then, of course, we have Sentinels versus 100 Thieves. That's going to be one of our other matches that take place today. Both of these games are going to be elimination matches, and of course, best of three, same business here. But win here, you move on. You face either C9 or Leviatán. Lose, your season is done. And we have that Cloud extravaganza that is going to be coming up after this matchup of Furia versus Crew. It's Sentinels, 100 Thieves. Guys, we got great matches across the board. Baby Bay, we have 2 matches today. What are you looking forward to here?
I'm looking forward to both matches, but I mean, obviously everyone wants to see the Cloud match.
Yes.
I mean, let's just be honest here. We want to see 100 Thieves versus Sentinels. Who's going to take it home? There's a lot at stake here, you know? So,
yeah, exactly. And I mean, I'm personally excited for the Furia Crew game because, you know, Mimi, I'm actually curious to see if Crew can actually keep this run going.
I mean, Crew looked legit yesterday when they were playing, and Furia is still kind of riding off of the struggles at the end of the season, and it's still that question of how much they're going to improve. I think there is a real chance that Crew could start a run in the LCQ with this game.
Yeah, and that's what we're hoping for, right? We want to see if Crew can actually make this thing a reality, and today is really the day where those answers are going to come to us here. But you know what, guys? Look, the event is high stakes, all right? We all know this, all right? Which means that the Twitter discourse is even more unhinged than usual, all right? So let's go ahead and play a special edition of Fan or Fraud. Wait, why is Mimi's face on there?
I'm not a fraud. Me personally, not a fraud. Very legitimate. I do business, no things, no fraudulence. But I did produce some fraudulent.
Oh, this is
tweets.
you?
Yes, I put some tweets together for you folks. Half of these are going to be from fans of either 100 Thieves or Sentinels. Half I made up. First 2 we've got on the left. I've said before, and I'll say it again, Crew is definitely the best, worst team from all regions. It seems like, with a little bit of luck, they would have ended the season with at least 2 or 3 wins, hoping for them to upset some teams in LCQ. Really reasonable right there. On the other side, B, Simple, 66.4 ADR. Kesnet, 169 ADR. I think it's clear who's
Talking
better.
about like simple.
Simple, yeah. I mean, bigger number, better player.
The Reign of Rank plays.
I agree with this person. The question now, which one is real? Which one did I make up?
B, you made up.
Why?
Lock it in. Lock it in. Because that was a joke from a co-stream I think that you were aware of.
You're metagaming.
I am metagaming.
You can't. No, this guy's cheating. You're out of the competition.
Got him.
Get
You're out of the
wrecked,
competition.
baby.
Fraudulent.
You heard nothing from him.
Fraud.
We're axing that. We're axing that.
You're our guest, Baby Bay. We'll let you pick.
I mean, I was going to go with B regardless. No one puts disrespect on Simple's name like this right here.
I know, that's
All right.
crazy.
Disrespectful.
Let's see who's
No offense
right.
to Kesnet.
All right.
Do the frauds hate Simple or do they love Kesnet?
I mean, listen.
Yep.
Fraud exposed.
He's in my head.
Just another
You
day in
can't
the
answer
fraudulent life of Mimi. Okay, well, let's go ahead and see what we have up next. What's the next one?
Number 2, another one right here. B, Simple, just fell to my knees in an IHOP. Really nice right there. This one's on MIBR's win versus 100 Thieves. On the left, a little bit longer here. It's all caps. How in God's name is that how it ends for 100 Thieves? Knifed by an assistant coach? What the hell was that game? Yeah.
All right, and then obviously just fell to my knees.
GB, you start this time.
You know
do you
what? I as an often IHOP enjoyer, I will go with IHOP. I don't know if you can tell, body built by pancakes, baby.
Go for it, it's what?
This is
You
the
can
fraud.
just
This
choose
is the
to
fraud.
go to an IHOP.
What? Why?
That's not the game.
I don't know. I just like IHOP.
think that
B,
was
lock it
fraud?
in. Let's go.
All right, let's see if he's correct.
I'm actually kind of curious now if I'm
no.
right here. All right, I pick B. Damn it!
And
I thought it was
wrong.
legit. I'm not going to lie.
And he's wrong. You gotta throw in a tweet.
I went with
that's
my gut.
fraudulent, But
I
really,
thought it was-
good
that
on
was a
his
good one,
tweet.
Mimi.
All right, we got one more tweet to
It was
take a
so
look
out of
at.
pocket, you know? I was like,
Really
there's something
was.
wrong here. Yeah?
All right, another long one here. We're gonna have to zoom through this one. Don't read that one yet. Don't read that one yet. Let's read A. Today, I had an exam in school, and when I was done, I raised my hands and yelled, "Sentinels!" And my teacher smiled at me and took my paper. She knew I was finished. That's A. B. This one is, hey, I'm a person who is really keen on getting the right gun buddy. I've been playing the game since launch, and I really wish to get my hands on the buddy. Actively tune into the pro tournaments and watch my favorite pros, such as Tens and a Proto, use this buddy beautifully.
Well, I mean,
Baby, your thoughts?
why a pro? I mean,
I like a proto.
I mean,
great
yeah,
player. He's a great player.
Proto's great, but I think B is not you. I just don't. Why would you mention a proto? I feel like that.
I love a Proto. He's a great player.
And the gun. I don't know.
Continuing to metagame. Your thoughts?
No,
Let him speak.
That has nothing to
Let
do
him
with it.
speak.
I feel like there's people that actually like will do anything to get this riot gun buddy, so I think this is real. I think
think
it's
it's
legit.
real?
Yeah, I think it's
What was
legit.
All right, let's
Okay.
see. Which is real?
I'm so
Which
curious.
is fake? The answer is
What? No way. That is.
this is fake.
You got me.
Guys, if any of the production team are listening right now,
Ladies and gentlemen,
hey, we'll cut hashtag
we
Sentinels.
got him. was good. Well done, Mimi.
All right. I feel
Okay.
like we learned something about just the psyche of the fan. And
We really.
maybe me too.
I'm just curious, like when they raise their. Anyway, you know what? It's all ahead of me.
How
at
does
this
that make
point.
sense? And it was finished in that game.
I guess.
The teacher understands that. How don't you?
I'm so sorry. Throughout the event, make sure you get out there at social media. Use the hashtag VCT Americas, as well as Americas LCQ, as well as hashtag VCT.
That's a lot of hashtags.
Join us. Yeah, there's a lot of hashtags. We're hashtagging it up out here all the
maxing.
time. What can I say? But guys, yes, that means that we're going to take a quick break. We're going to gather ourselves here because, let's be honest, after Phantom Fraud, we're definitely going to need it. But when we come back, we're going to jump into the discussion about Crew versus Furia. You don't want to miss it. And as always, we'll see you on the other side.
Ya logrará la labor, pero todo queda en manos de Melzer. Melzer, el guardián, nos queda el bolsillo. Tiene el número 3. ¡Claro que tenemos! ¡Vamos, Melzer!
Não plantou C4 ainda. O DGzinho vai abrir. E é o Ace DG.
Welcome back, everyone, to VCT Americas LCQ. Now it's time to dive into our first match of the day. It's an elimination match, and it's Furia versus Crew. And since we've talked about Crew extensively yesterday, let's start things off with Furia, because early in the stage, it looked like this team was going to be a genuinely real contender for the crown. They started off hot, it looked good, and then they got little broed by Loud. And Mimi, since then, it really has just been topsy-turvy for this team.
Very early in the season, people had such high hopes for this team. People were predicting they could be number 1, number 2 in the power rankings, and I don't think that was necessarily wrong, even with hindsight. Early on, they beat Leviatán when they were looking at peak form, when we thought they were going to be a top 3 team in the league. They looked dominant up until that game against Loud, and after losing that, it was this massive downhill trajectory for the rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Past that point, they struggled to get games over the finish line. They actually ended up playing the most rounds of any team in the league because so many of their games were 2-1 losses that went to OTs, 13-11s. And as the season went on, it just felt like they got sloppier and sloppier. And actually were making some of, I think, the similar mistakes the Crew were making, centered around both teams' centerpiece duelists, where they were often getting ahead of themselves, and the setup wasn't there like you expect from the teams of that caliber.
Yeah, and Baby, what's that like for a player to start the season really strong, to be like innovating in the meta? They were one of the first at the Harbor Vibe, to have all your players looking like top of the league players, and then have that slip away from you and having to try and recover.
Valorant is such a game of momentum shifts, and all it takes is that one loss to throw your whole team off. And like in the beginning of their season, Khalil was having great performances across the board on that controller role, actually like dominating, like straight up dominating in terms of their whole team. And I think he kind of took a little bit of a step back after that game. And like, who knows why? Like, it's a huge mental game. And, you know, hopefully he can bring it back for today, so.
Yeah, and that's what we're hoping for as well. Now, you may notice that there is a little bit of a difference on the stage there, because heading into today, we actually do have a roster update, because QCK is out, and we, of course, wish QCK the best, and hopefully, you know, gets well. And then we have Conan, actually, who's going to be subbing in here. And this is going to be quite interesting. Why? Because now you're in a do-or-die situation, backs against the wall, and you're coming in. That's a lot for that guy to have to deal with on this day against Crew.
Yeah, 100%. For the uninitiated, Conan has been a strong player in Brazil for a while now.
Sure.
But for the viewers outside of Brazil, you haven't seen him because he's been just below that echelon of the teams qualifying for international lands. In the scene, he's been a really solid initiator flex type player, but also stepping into this right now, he's filling in the shoes of their sentinel. So there's a big question mark around how they're actually going to structure the team and what they've been working on in this offseason and how much time they've had with them in this offseason too.
Yeah, the roles are going to have to change around a little bit, I'd imagine, or he's going to have to change his role to be able to fit into this roster cleanly, which is always something so difficult. But this team does have history for Furia, being so successful in these tournaments. Thus far, they're yet to lose in LCQ. They won both back in Brazil to make it both the Chance 21 and 22, which is such an impressive record for them to have.
Yeah, and it's impressive. And I think Baby, to kind of like bring you in on this, right? Like the LCQ trajectory, right? Having to make that run. When you try and think about the difficulties, the challenges that face, I know you mentioned before it's a mental game here, but now you're playing with a sub in this situation. Well, professionally speaking, what are you thinking about Furia and their chances going into this game with that information?
I think that this Conan guy has definitely been playing a lot of ranked. I see him all the time online. He's cracked out of his mind. I know that as a fact.
Yeah.
And obviously, they're going to be confident slotting him in. And just having the confidence that you've won every single LCQ that you've ever played in, I think he's going to feed into that as well. And it's just going to be great vibes across the board.
Yeah, and they're certainly going to need it, but they also, thankfully, do have a lot of firepower on that team, right? And one of the names we always got to talk about him is Digizin, right? The drip daddy himself, the best-looking man in the room with the most chains. This dude can very much be make or break for this team here, Mimi.
Yeah, he absolutely can. I mean, what he does with the operator in his hands is ridiculous. And when this team was at its peak, it was really driven by his performance. Remember, Americas was really the first to pick up this Harbor Viper meta. Furia was early on that. It's one with solo initiator, solo jet, puts a lot of emphasis on that player. And what he was able to find with that operator was so consistently great for them. But when Furia started struggling, you kind of saw like the classic Jet thing where he knows he's so good and he wants to go for those plays to turn games around. And a lot of the time that led to him being punished.
Yeah.
I've definitely been there before. I know exactly.
I knew you were going to say. I knew it, bro. I was waiting for you to jump in, man.
What he's talking about here. Like sometimes as a Jet, like when things are not going your way, you try to overcompensate, and that can actually lead to you playing even worse than usual, And I think that's what you're touching on, But when this guy does get the op in his hands, and he's always been a top tier opper in other games as well, championship player, winning international lands with Mazen as well.
Yeah.
He's just a force to be reckoned with. So I mean, we're definitely going to see him getting that op up into his hands early on, I guarantee it.
Yeah. And it's interesting to compare him to Kesnet in this one. Maybe we were talking before the show went live, but for Kesnet and for Crew, they're a team that is like really good at these raise maps, and Kesnet is insane when he's on that agent, whereas Digizin is the duelist on the other side, is this Jet guy who's just known for his operator.
Yeah, I mean, Kesnet is definitely one of the best raises I've ever played against. I'm not gonna lie. Even since last year, I was playing against him, and he would just dominate me on split when I would play scrims. It was absurd.
Wow,
so he's annoying to play against on that raise role, and I think that's why you saw them win so cleanly yesterday against my VRs.
No, you're good. You're good.
I can't talk right now.
And I think for both teams late in that season, Furia especially, compared to where Crew were yesterday, how good they were at actually setting up Kesnet, they were constantly hitting like perfect timed like Molly nade combos, etc. They were playing so well around him, and that's what Furia were lacking around Digizin at the end of their America's season in the playoffs. So if that ends up continuing to be the case, as crazy as it is for the 09 team, they might have better coordination around their duelists than Furia will.
Well, that actually gives us a perfect segue as we dive right into Crew, right? The 7th seed and, technically the only team that actually won a match here in the LCQ so far. But that being said, to Wyatt's point, Baby Bay, it was very clear that we were seeing more coordination, more prep, more strategy going into the play here of Crew. And yeah, I mean, how do you make Crew's chances now, considering what you know about Kesnet and these players and what they bring to the table?
I mean, like I said earlier, this game is so momentum-based, and to finally get your first win, and it's an LCQ, you know that they're just hungry to keep going and keep the streak going. And they want to win. We have interviews of them saying that they just want it so bad, which I'm sure we'll play later on.
Yeah, exactly.
But and like being down 0 and like 0 and whatever in this season, it's brutal, you
Yeah.
know, and you're just itching for that first win. Now they finally got it. They're going to
Yeah.
be popping off on all cylinders, and they have nothing to lose.
Yeah,
That's the best part about it.
That really is it, right? They have nothing to lose, and when you come in with that passion, that drive to win, actually, as a matter of fact, you mentioned it before. We're going to go ahead and bring it up now because we did get an opportunity yesterday chat with Kesnet. We also chatted with Klaus as well about this matchup with MIBR and the mindset that they have. Let's actually go ahead and hear what they had to say in the post-match interviews.
Lo primero, es raro estar aquí porque ya perdimos todos los matches en la serie pasada, pero venimos trabajando, esforzándonos full, nos tomamos pocos días de break y quisimos venir con la rabia, con todo eso, de que no se nos había dado un partido, vinimos con todo, trabajando duro y hasta que se nos dio, en algún momento se tenía que dar.
It feels similar, like when I wake up, like just as I feel like the most thing that I wanted is just win all the tournament and just I just wake up and say like today I will like
Today I'm doing it.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
I'm doing it. I love it, man. And that passion, Wyatt, you can clearly hear it there.
Yeah, and for reference, what Klaus was talking about, was comparing the feeling he had waking up yesterday to the feeling they had in 2021 at Champions when Crew went on their iconic run where they pushed that legendary Gambit team to the limit. And he said that is how they're feeling right now. And you could see it in the play, too, with what Kesnet said about the rage, like the aggression, the way that they were popping off, the player reactions. If you remember at Champions, too, their reaction when they beat Sentinels is one of the biggest team pop-offs ever in this game's history.
Yeah.
They are so about having that ruthless vibe that they just lost the entire season. And with these three guys on screen being in that kind of form, it is so reminiscent of that.
Yeah, they were playing insane, the core of this team, really stepping up for Kesnet and in particular Klaus as well, going crazy throughout that matchup to levels that we hadn't really seen to the same extent in the regular season. And Baby for this team, it really does feel like for some teams, there's always someone who goes on a run, does something surprising in an LCQ. Tournament formats like this versus the more kind of like slow regular season, week by week, make a difference if you can just get that first win, get that momentum?
Definitely. Like in normal seasons, sometimes it can just feel like a mesh, you know, everything you're just playing to play. But when it comes to an actual tournament, now is when you start playing for real and you bring out your A game and you do things that you've noticed there's weaknesses all season long with the teams that you've been playing against, and they're not going to be prepared for it because maybe you've been holding back on certain things. Like you're really going to give it your all in these moments, and especially when your tournament life is on the line, right?
Yeah, and I think that also kind of leads us right into what we saw yesterday from Crew, right? Because, you know, I mean, guys, like maybe that was just a completely different team, right?
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We know how good Crew can be. We've seen it before in the past. But it was really nice to see this team really just go back to the fundamentals and the things that made them click initially, and they found success as a result.
I think the biggest improvement point for Crew was how they were playing their late rounds, and in particular, how they were playing around plants. On Bind, they did a really good job of emphasizing using their utility to stall out these plants when they were on the A site, and then just playing to flood retake together. All the Crew in the regular season, you would see players going out, taking an individual risks, sacrificing some of these rounds. This Crew looked so much more coordinated at taking that pause, calming down for a second, and then really using their utility to flood back in together. And they were stomping MIBR. The improvement really worked for Crew.
Yeah, and you can see when teams have this overall improvement with the teamwork, that individuals will start to shine again. I think it's something we saw with EG. As their play as a team stepped up, all of a sudden you were seeing Jawjimo and the rest of the guys calm. They were looking way better than at the beginning of the season. And it's totally reasonable that the similar thing can happen now for Crew. The guys who used to have impact on that team, like Klaus and the new guys coming in, Davies, who's been stepping it up, they can fill those shoes and they can actually have the impact that they need to win games that they weren't early on.
Yeah, actually, Baby, to you in that regard, right? Like, is that something that you have felt in the past as well? It's like there is a big difference between like the individuals going to the server and then the team going into the server.
Absolutely, and I feel like when you play these raised comps, which I think Crew shines on, it kind of forces you to play as a team because you can't really have this like Jet solo play domination, where you just do crazy stuff all the time. I feel like Raze is much more of a character where, if your team sets you up correctly and you use your utility correctly, like we're talking about in post plants and all that stuff, you're really going to shine as a team. And I think that's their strength right now.
Yeah. And I think that's good for Kesnet as an individual too, because I think there is that very direct comparison between him and Digizin with the struggles in finding coordination with the team and taking too many risks at times. When he's playing on these race maps, not only is it an agent that he's so good on, comfortable on individually, but it is really clear that when he's playing, at the forefront of his mind is how he can use his utility with his team. And I think his teammates are also doing a really good job at being proactive to find that moment for him to not just be great as an individual and as a star, but also as a guy that they're building strategy around.
Yeah, you know what? It's so refreshing and nice to be able to talk about Crew like this, because I've been a big fan of this team for a very long time. So it's great to see this team finally find their form again. And look, let's not sugarcoat it here. The odds are 100% against Crew in making champs, but it isn't impossible. Here's Melzer, as a matter of fact, as he gives us his take on this situation. Let's listen.
Yo creo que el momento te puede llevar a ser campeón. Como por ejemplo, puedo dar como ejemplo EG. Yo creo que el rank que tuvieron desde el split hasta Master fue solamente momentum. O sea, agarraron el momento y no soltaron más, estaban confiantes. Así que si llegamos a agarrar ese momento nosotros, yo creo que podemos hacer fácilmente el mismo rank que hicieron ellos.
You have to think, Wyatt, like the confidence you would have if you're able to make a run like this, coming from the absolute bottom of the barrel, 0-9, a rough season, and then you get your first win in the last chance qualifier of all things. That is truly the Cinderella run of all Cinderella runs.
Yeah, in a way, it almost parallels the EG run that we just witnessed. It's a similar thing, even to how the individuals are stepping up as the team steps up. And Melzer stepping up, too. He had some great performances internationally and started super slow this season. He was kind of a clutch god at points internationally with Lev.
Yeah.
And you saw yesterday, he was returning into that form. He was finding a lot of individual impact too.
Yeah, if they can continue to do that, I mean, who knows, man? The opportunities truly are endless. But folks, we are only minutes away as we get ready for this matchup, and it's going to be a good one. We have Furia taking on Crew. So make sure you get some water, get yourself a snack. Don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we're diving into plenty more. We'll see you on the other side. right, we're almost out of time, so let's go ahead and get some quick predictions from the desk for this matchup. Crew versus Furia. Wyatt, you're going first. What you have for me?
Once again,
you didn't change it?
Once again, Crew.
I'm going deja vu.
With I'm going with Crew again. I believe the mentality, it's back. The killer instinct, it's back.
Okay,
Guys,
all right, Mimi.
You'll never believe this, but I also have reused the same whiteboard. We're still grouping, baby. They're so back. They look like a completely different team. The coordination in the late rounds, honestly, just the team playing together. It feels like the first time I'm actually seeing glimmers of that Crew of old, and they believe it too. So. Okay. They're going all the way.
I just wish you would have drawn something different. All right, Baby Bay, go for it.
As impressed as I was with Crew after their first win, I got to go with my boys DG Zin and Mazin. I got to go with them.
Okay, I'm actually on that camp with you as well. I just feel like, don't get me wrong, I love Crew, and I'm a big fan of this team, but I just can't go against DigiZin, man. This dude's going to pop off. It's going to be so fun to watch. And so you see here from the desk, we're split. Oh, boy, it's going to be a good one. But today, 4 teams will take the stage, but only 2 will fight to live, or live to fight another day, excuse me, as we have Furia versus Crew, Sentinels versus 100 Thieves. Folks, day 2 of VCT Americas LCQ starts right now.
The goal this year is to be able to go to Champions.
The pressure is on.
Let's go!
Por eso que ganarle a todos.
Eis que o capitão quer mais.
Oh, looking for the transfer! And he's gonna get it! What are you guys fucking doing? First misses the second does not!
Para você ser o melhor, você tem que ganhar dos melhores.
Buena, weón!
Anyone can take any game off one another.
Something gets free!
And the B-side is now open!
What a shot! Ai, ai, ai! Sensacional!
Eu acho que já se vê pelo nome, né, que é Last Chance Qualifier, que é a última chance.
Eu acho que todo jogador quer estar no palco. Eu tive essa oportunidade agora, então a gente ia vir muito mais maduro e vai estar muito mais confiante também nos jogos.
Eu acho que o time deu uma mudada. Não, com certeza vão trazer coisas novas.
Mas o Kalil tem a chance, levou o King, olha ele, Kalil!
No me estoy preocupando mucho de los cambios que tengan ellos, sino que vengo como más mentalizado en qué somos ahora nosotros, porque somos muy distintos a Crew, que se enfrentó a esa vea Furia.
Linda baja de Cloud, 4 para 3, ventaja para Crew. La ronda de semicompra se puede acabar. Nicolás Ferrari.
Y siento que somos capaces de ganarle en cualquier equipo de Last Chance.
No hay necesidad, deja que planten. ¡Se puede tomar! ¿Qué hizo? ¿Qué hizo?
Okay, we're back with the VCT map pick bans for LCQ. This time we have Furia against Crew. Furia, you guys will have team select for being higher seed. Which team would you want?
We want
Team
Team B.
B. So Furia is Team B, which means Crew is Team A. We will start with Crew banning a map.
Fracture.
Crew bans Fracture. Okay, Furia ban a map.
Lotus.
Lotus. So what is map 1 for Crew?
Split.
Split and side on split.
Attack.
Attack. Furia pick map 2. Ascent. And Crew, what side on Ascent?
Attack.
Attack. So second phase of bans, Crew ban a map. Pearl. And Furia ban the second map.
We want to play Bind, so
Okay, so Furia bans Haven. So decider map will be Bind. and Crew was side unbind. Attack. Okay, we'll go over it again. Crew bans Fracture, Furia bans Lotus. Crew picks Split for map 1, Furia with attack. Furia bans Ascent, Crew with attack, or Furia picks Ascent for map 2, Crew is attack on Ascent. Crew bans Pearl, Furia bans Haven, so decided map is bind with Crew on attack. Yep. Good luck, have fun.
Yeah, thank you. Good game. Have a good game.
Bienvenidos al segundo día del Last Chance Qualifier. Viniendo de una victoria, pero buscando más, es Davis, Klaus, Melzer, Kesnit y Naxet con su coach Atom, Crew.
E agora estreando a nova line, Mazin, DGzin, Kalil, MWZera, Conan e o coach Carlão. Hoje é dia de Fúria!
And here we go. The pressure is on for both of these teams. Win, you move on in this competition, lose, and your season ends here and now. Wyatt, the pressure's on.
Both teams, as you said, one loss and they're going home. A month and a half of practice for this moment. Crew, off the back of their first win, the mental is back. That killer instinct is back. Furia, though, Conan, the sub in, he has never played in a game with the magnitude of this. Their comp is going to be weird. How are they going to fit him in? There's a ton of pressure on this guy's shoulders.
And for both these teams, the trajectory couldn't be more different. For Crew, it was the worst possible season, 0-9, to now coming into LCQ, looking like a team that has reinvented itself with finally its core roster all together, and now maybe on a trajectory to start a run. For Furia, though, it was from a strong start in Americas to then this slow decline, and now another issue with having to sub a player out. This seems like the best moment Crew has to get another upset and to continue this run.
Very true. You know, and I think that, you know, Baby Bay, it sets up, sets up Crew potentially for success, but also, you know, let's be honest here, right? What happens if we go into the first few rounds and then Furia just start rolling with the sub? How does the mental then shake up for Crew, you know?
I think they already went through the worst that they're ever going to go through. You know, being 0-9, I don't think you can get a much worse mental than that. Yeah. I think that any rounds forward, even if they start off slow or whatever it may be, I think they look really happy and they look really hungry and driven to win this series. And definitely this is the moment to do it when Furia has a sub.
Yeah.
And there's going to be some questions about the maps. We're starting on Split. Both these teams have their permabans. There's not really any surprises here, but it is a question of composition. Last time we saw these squads, they were both playing the double duelists, and that was going to be my question. Do we see Chamber? Because with the buffs, I think he can actually be pretty good on Split, and Furia already tried him pre-buff on this map. I think there's a real possibility of Chamber v Chamber.
Yeah, it does seem very realistic, especially because the Furia team doesn't have a Sentinel main anymore. The only other guy who played a Sentinel was DeJazine on this map on Chamber in what, like week 1 or week 2? So I think an angle they could take with the team right now is having Conan, that initiator main, playing the Sky role, move MW to the Raze, which they have just now, and then DeJazine, if they want to run full-time Chamber, he might be back.
Baby, this seems like a good in-between of the things you were hyping up for this Crew team. You get Kesnit on his raise roll, and on the other side, you still do get an agent that's great for Digizin's up. It's kind of the best of both worlds for these teams.
Absolutely, and this is so interesting because Furia actually beat Crew with the chamber, and now we're seeing it flipped around. So they're actually running each other's comps.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out here. Everything's locked in, but we end up getting Jet instead of Digizin on the chamber. This is going to be really awesome to see how this all plays out, and we are ready to go. So let's go ahead and send it over to your casters, whose power level is always over 9,000. It's, of course, Vansili and Rivington. Enjoy, guys.
Should I start charging up and then tune into the next episode? I'm not ready for that. We're ready for the game to start now. It's going to be electrifying here between Furia and Crew, and the first map being split. This is basically a rematch of week 1 on the same maps too.
So long ago these teams faced, so a lot of identities have changed. Teams have changed, back and forth roster switches for Crew to seemingly now find this strength, this Titan momentum that they could bring all the way through LCQ. I am so excited to see what Conan can bring, having this guy on the squad. TBK in Last Chance Qualifier was the last time we saw him playing in a professional match against Furia. They lost 0-3 against Furia, and then he's like, if you can't beat him, join him. So now he's on Furia, and he's going to be playing here in Last Chance Qualifiers in Americas.
And Crew had a great start indeed yesterday in the LCQ, but that's also a pain point for them for today against Furia, because Furia was able to sit back yesterday and see how
watch
Crew
it
played.
all.
So study the play style and see if you could counter it. And we're starting things off very aggressively. Crew on the defense here on split. 4 players pushing down towards middle, while all of Furia, except for a late lurk, that's going to get hurt here from the middle for a B hit. It's open, a 5 versus 5 retake.
4 ghosts as well, so you know this is staying as the death squad. It's all really up to Mazian right now. If Mazian can play this slow enough, it's all the info that Furia needs.
There you go, they flash it, they hurt him a long time ago, so Mazian's the first to fall in this series. Pushing towards the spawn though are Furia. There's only one player there, that's Davies, gonna try to keep them back. Both duelists moving forward for Furia. Digizin and MW0 just waiting out in the corner. Meanwhile, though, you do have the execution starting to come in from Crew, but the retake on B main held back by Furia for now. Back to a 2 versus 3 disadvantage for Furia, as it's up to Digizin, looking for that clutch. Davies and Nax closing in, tapping on the spike. It's open. Digizin can actually play it on the angle. The first one does not connect. Now it's at halfway. He gets the shot onto Nax.
That's gonna be it.
That's gonna be it. Again onto Davies for the Red Bull clutch.
Oh my gosh. Digizin starts off on the first round, coming up huge. No right to be getting that clutch there, but the angle was given by Davies just too far to the left on the defense. He goes down with the ship on that one, and what control of the ship he had the whole time, too. Just knowing he can put that angle on to Nagzat, and Furia start off with a round they should not have. Let's see where they move to for second. Probably expecting a bit more pressure from Crew after they run down mid on that first round. Spike's still holding in Ramen right now, but using utility to clear everything out, giving Crew that consideration that they may have a really nice eco strat.
That's right. Conan, the one stepping up here for Furia in the shoes of QCK, as this Sky was using that Trailblazer to see if there was going to be a stack from Crew in the B side, and that's Madzine with a nice opener.
What a creep up.
Because it already falls. Nice lurk play. Keeping only one player inside the B side on defense, and that's going to be Melzer. Picked off now by MW0. Easy plan about to come down.
Keep an eye on this. Mazine's identification, or identifying that A Heaven was not guarded. Davies finally gets him, but how often are Furia going to come back to this A Heaven to see if they can get control, get information, and then work the map as they did here on this second round? A quick hold on to B, and they should be able to come away with this without too much damage. We'll have to see what this chamber now for Davies brings in as we get into the gun rounds. He has played it in the past, and all time he's got about 650 rounds on it. Other ones, his Phoenix is 600. It's about his third played, so not too far back, so he should be able to see some good chamber play out of Davies here with that pick.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one to witness as the round continues to move forward here on Split. As BBB mentioned on that desk, they've pretty much switched compositions for both Crew and Furia, so a lot of responsibilities for Davies on this chamber role. Thankfully for Crew, it's their map pick, and they also thought they were going to play the defensive side first. There's a couple of busts that happened for Chamber in the last time when you saw actually Digizine play Chamber on that map in week number 1. So can those changes coming up for Chamber, for Davies, will be good enough here for Crew to start putting these rounds together now that they have the rifles?
Yeah, and I feel like Crew has to grab a lot of rounds here. Not having the double duelist, it's going to be a lot on Kesnet once they get on to attack. So Furia picks attack coming into this with the ability to go defense, but no, they want to set the pace, and here we go. That double duelist is on the train tracks and rolling through now.
And that's a great start. The trademark already set up here to not allow NW0 to get too much space on the double satchel. Crew already looking to play what has been their signature move against MIBR yesterday, to flood in for the retakes as the plant comes down on the A site.
What's the defense? The utility is there for Crew, but I feel like Furia already has this garrisoned. Scaled to screens. MW0 with first contact.
Turns away from it. Boombot's fully flashed, so it cannot clear, but Kesa just swings out for that frag. A retake now ensues. Madzine holding in the back of the map with this stinger. Flash coming around the corner. Another perfect flash, but Madzine still dancing around. Only good for that one kill. Digizine on this last player stuck at the screens, chased down, hunted down, and dropped by Melzer in the end. And Crew manages to get the first round with 3 players alive.
Exactly, 3 players alive to keep this going, because they're going to be facing Furia's weapons on the next. But a great retake, a lot from what we saw yesterday on Crew. Patience, not losing anybody if it was Furia or anyone else taking the site, right?
Yep.
We saw it yesterday in MIBR where get the site, get position, and Crew would still have 5 full with util to retake, and they have been so good at those protocols. Really tough for these teams to have a good post plant. They showed MIBR, or they made MIBR seem like they weren't a team with the second best post plant in the regular season yesterday, right? It was just such a switch of gameplay for Crew. Now into round 4.
Poison orb emitting.
Slowed down, but still this B focus for Furia.
Yeah, always trying to keep Melzer pretty much aware on this B site. Double satchel through, close range for Gravity Well. And finally the assist comes across, but Digizine continues to explode now in the B site. Dropping a defense from Crew. One trying to spam through the smoke on the top of that for Crew. That's Nags, not connecting into any kills yet. Safe plant coming in. Madzine's looking for a very late lurk. The 1v1 moving forward. Davies spotted, and that's another player to fall for Crew. Might be the call here for the last 2 players to do whatever they can to save these last 2 weapons. Can they isolate Madzine now? And they will.
Furia has created and orchestrated this little strategy here that Crew needs to always find Madzine.
Yep.
They can't do much. They can't commit to a retake without finding where that flank is. And again, Madzine controls almost 3 people in that situation.
Yeah.
Does go down, but prevents the round from being even, or having a retake. So Furia is working the map so well right now to just stall Crew on wanting to push forward. They always have to look over the shoulder, and that's never a fun way to play Split.
Agreed. It's almost like they're doing that simultaneously as well. The other times when Furia are continuing to default towards his B main, the lurk already is activated from Madzine towards that A site ramp, and that's how we got the first kills, keeping Crew together at exactly. spots.
And when the front of the attack is Digizine getting the kills you need, Mazine's job then becomes so much easier. Right? It's just,
as you just saw,
it's working on so many fronts right now for Furia. Ultimate for Kesnet comes up pretty quick for them. Let's see if it can turn this around. Instantaneous up towards mid. And Digizine wants blood.
It's going to be important now is not only the 2 rifles saved by Crew on that previous round, but if they could get value out of this showstopper now ready for Kesnet. NW0 still on top of the boxes, sees the jiggles of Nagzit, so those pain shells will push him out. A little bit too shallow, so Nagzit can still hold his corner.
Crew or Nagzit might go down here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, will go down here. Crew actually set up in this round expecting Digizin and MW0 to go up ramp. Okay, Blade Storm's up. They might go for a fast hit on A again, and it was mid. Kind of uncharacteristic to see the ultimate for a Jet go that quickly up to find a mailroom kill, and now they're back to A for that double duelist entry.
Yeah, after 4 rounds and then the 5th round starting to work towards middle. When Crew had focused this time on the extremities too, leveraging that potential showstopper from Kezin on that B site. But it's gonna try to get used towards the A. Pushing NW0 out of position, punished by Davies. A 4 versus 4. Plant yet to go down with 30 seconds left. Digizin once again inside screens.
They scale so quick to a position and just get in Crew's face. Another A ramp take. This will be a little bit of a repeat here from Crew. See if the protocol is the same, even with less members.
Melzer does have this Cosmic Divide. If they want to start things off, no TPs available for Davies as he was looking for that entry. Positions just seems too good. At least for now, as we fight back for Crew. Klaus and Kesnet. One more time, the heroes of the team. The late lurk from Khalil, and the headshot then from Melzer to answer right back. And Crew continues the great retake plays from yesterday.
We had a few thrifties peppered into yesterday's series. The thing is they came in at ultra necessary moments here. This would have been a big spread in the scoreline for Furia if they were able to grab the round, but the Sheriff shots across the team of Crew yesterday were on fire, and it looks like they're bringing a bit of that here today.
Agreed.
Fist bumps all around as we get into a possible 3-3 here, as Furia is just only 1 up. And these are retakes. Like you said, 2 diffuses there for Crew. They found a way in. Even with Furia getting to that post plan. A team with the 2nd best attack coming into LCQ here off the regular season. So you know Furia is going to have aggression into the sites. And maybe that's why we see Crew giving up the space so they can retake so safely. Big default here.
Yeah.
I think everybody takes a breath.
A change as well, though, in the protocols. Conan flashing early on the top of ramp, keeping both players of Crew on the top of that area, thinking that at some point there'd be a double satchel or anything for MW0, but both of the duelists, from Furia are just holding it very quietly and cautiously towards that B main. Crew doesn't want to move at all, though. They want to be more reactive and letting Furia make the first step.
It's a lot of what they did to MIBR yesterday.
That's true.
Sound and backpedal, sound and backpedal. All that utility's gone, and you leave your opponents having to clear dry angles. Oof. That was Digizin last time. Look at them both working together so quickly to get into this site. As the Cosmic Divide goes down, it'll put some patience on this attack, but this is about to get very vicious very quick.
Exactly. Cycling around the ultimates for the attack. Furia then puts in the Viper's Pit after the Cosmic Divide. Seekers is trying to get a bit of info.
Seekers
at least
there.
On that push, yeah, and it's available for Klaus. Melzer also has his own Cosmic Divide, but before the wall comes up, Digizin gets the first blood. Kesnet falls, Seekers coming in, it does hit NW0. Close to the wall, our Crew getting ready to flood back, right back. It's traded off for a few. Davies capitalizing on 1 kill onto Digizin. Shorty inside the pit. Oh! Just too much damage as the HP was dwindling down and the pit is just too thick. Furia hold the post plant.
There it is. Nicely Furia actually started at B, and they've liked B. Much better time controlling it as well. The size of A is lending Crew the ability to get Furia on these different angles and peaks when they can hunker down inside that B site. Especially with these ultimates, they create all of these little angles that Crew is just scattered to find. Nice. That did require a lot from Furia, but they get the round, they get the econ back a little bit, and they shut down the momentum of Crew.
Oh, speaking about shutting down, that's Digizin once again. The main duelist, the main entry, the one that carries Furia into all of these advantages.
You wonder how much would change with Conan coming in, right? You know, Digizin's going to be on the front line.
Yeah.
Not
much yet.
Support, yeah, how much support still goes to that player, how much they try to prioritize the success of their duelists, and it still stays the same here. Looks like Conan is slotting in really nice so far. And still supporting those duelists with the initiating. Back to the other side, to this B where they feel a bit safer, and it looks like they are going to get MW0 to be their flank, or lurker rather.
Understandable play that was attempted here by Davies. They are on a sort of broken buy that you have. Hero Vandal in the hands of Kesnit, so he was trying to make a play with the Headhunter. Meanwhile, though, Melzer, with that Guardian, punished once again. And who better than Digizine? B site, one more time, up for the taking for Furia. And becomes now a late lurk from NW0. Back towards middle. You hate to see those. Crew now suffering the tail end of getting killed through smokes. They were the ones that were able to do it before against MIBR, but wait a minute. Klaus, one more time, 2 kills. The late lurk then activated. There's that first, and a close range on the second. He will trade off for his teammate, and Furia now take the lead, 5-2.
Digizine again, like you said, opening these up. The Spearhead, 4th first kill in a row to start off that round and get Furia their 5th as we move into the 8th round of the game. Oh, just a little misdirection on the Trailblazer, and that's the half a second Digizine needed to clean it up. They are quickly reacting to Klaus when he presents himself in these sites. Menacing impact frags coming out of him still. And Crew's gonna go ahead and call a timeout here. I think Crew is playing too passive to a detriment. They are getting safe retakes, but they're not getting enough info of where Furia has made it, how far they've scaled, really what was used into the site, because it's a guiding light, and you have, that time, just Digizine, but usually 2 duelists in. And I think it's been too much without the info, without just a little bit of how that's being executed. Crew is left in the dust.
Was still a bit of the game plan that Crew had against MIBR to give that space for that Brazilian team to think that they have open sights and are just really good for the retakes. But the real difference that we're seeing this time around, that space that's given to Furia allows a player just like Digizine to step up to the plate and already be on a heater. It just brings me flashbacks to when actually Digizine tried a chamber on this map on week number 1. He had a very slow start, and they took the whole map, switching back to a Jet into Ascent, and then we saw the good old Jet from Digizine. And he brings it up now already, starting here at the LCQ elimination game once again. And he's putting those numbers in already.
He doesn't have much to worry about either in terms of utility. If you think about it, even for MDVZera, hold the thought. It looks like they're going with W.
Oh yeah, we're doing that again. This time with the showstopper. Paint Shell's now moving forward. No contact on anything in a space. Maybe taking, will they clear? Melzer in the back, fully flash. Booba moving forward, and he gets blown up. Second to fall on the top of heaven. Kesnit trying to fight back, jumping through the orb.
Wait a minute.
Across on the other end, MWZ chases him down. Nags and Davies.
Spike planted.
Davies with the Tool de Force. And Conan with the re-heal on Furia. 3 players playing deep in the site. Trailblazer still available to get info on the top. Delays moving through. Nagsat waiting. They just know through that there's going to be somebody lurking, but they never know the timing. And the timing's now. An easy kill for Khalil. Davies left on an island. He's trying to swim back here to safety, at least on this 3 versus 1, trying to do that econ damage. But this time around, it's to save at least a Phantom. Furia off the execution and the showstopper. We're able to hold another solid post plant.
Quick, clean. Like you said, showstopper was there, and Crew not able to bring anything back on there. The tour de force gets used up, but they do bring a Phantom into the next round.
But I can patch a
It's just, how do you stop Furia? What I was saying at the beginning of last round is Digizine and MWZera don't have much utility they have to worry about. We don't see Sage as much anymore. There's no Cypher here, right? They can bounce right into sight, and it's on the aim. And what does Digizine and MWZera have? Great aim. So it's on them. They feel comfortable, and they're putting themselves in these priority, high intense positions and still coming up with the results.
You know who else has a great aim, though? You had somebody like Klaus, right?
He's answered as much as he can.
Haven't had a chance to really shine yet on this map. Furia's been doing a great job just also using these smokes and this double controller composition that they have to not allow Crew to get these type of kills. As you try to get a late lurk, Mazine already gets punished for it. But Furia are already looking here to rotate back and fight back. The Trailblazer gives false information, and Crew's even bunny hopping away thinking. It's a huge mind game right now for both of these teams. Davies is staking forward as they double swing out for Furia. It's time to react for Crew. So 1 for 1. Make that a 2 for 1.
Wow.
It's time for MWZero from the grave, dropping 2 with the paint shells. And allowing Furia to move in for a plant.
All right, the rotation over. Marshall for Melzer. Kesnet may be the front of this fight. If they can get some of these blast packs to displace Furia. Tijazine's ready, though, to collapse. And gets collapsed on.
It's Klaus, man. Seekers are available now to spot the last 2. So you have to play around the rest of the utility. Khalil forced to pop up a Nebula very early. Gravel on the defense. A retake attempted. Conan swings out for the kill. But Kesnet answers right back. Khalil in a clutch situation once again, playing inside that smoke. Here's a foot, says the belt! And as it dissipates, Crew continues still to have some great trade ability.
Yes.
And they finally come back with the 3rd round.
They're finally rewarded for this conviction of guarding a ramp over and over again. It wasn't Digizine and MWZero that went in, but it was that lurk again. Right here, Davies getting this frag. Stop that whole troublesome situation of having to worry who's the lurker. Where are they going to be coming from? You see how much more confident Crew was to move into the site and execute this retake.
Such an important kill you saw there that came out from Klaus, which allowed those Seekers to be ready and spot the last 2 players and have Crew finalize that round. It was a broken by the hand on that previous one, so they capitalize on that. The money is good in this round for Crew. So just making some noise here towards the back and forth of the A ramp control. And Furia seems to have won it at the beginning of this round.
I can hear steps. You ever hear somebody jump peeking? You know they probably have a partner real close. Nobody's gonna do that and just give away their position. You can see 3 of them back there ready to trade this fight.
Nice swing by Davies. Digizine falls. Key component here. Falling down for Furia. But they've also always been good in these 4 versus 5 situations. Looking to see if Crew's gonna peek back out, be a little bit more antsy, and decide to choose the safe route, putting the wall up. Flash to get information on the defense. A lurk kill from MWZero onto Naxit at middle. Seekers then coming through. Another flash, but it's a rotate back from Furia back at middle.
All the way through, trying to ring around the rosy here. They still don't have Spike just yet, so that will delay them, giving Crew time to get into position.
30 seconds
but still,
left.
they have Crew off their first defensive positions. It's kind of the goal of doing a strategy that goes across the map.
There's 22 seconds left this time, though. Nobody could actually swing in. It's Kesnet himself with the showstopper.
What a great stall.
And just that, exactly. The plant's not going to happen. That's one piece of util, no kills, that still allows Crew to get the round.
Not a round you expect to see with a 4v4 save out here. Crew doing a fantastic job of tracking Furia across the map. And that's going to be around, MWZero evened it up, or
And that's
uneven.
a big kill.
Yeah.
Because he gets that kill right there, that's a showstopper for this round here.
What's the answer? Nothing on deck for Ultimates on the other side. A great trade to start off. And again, we see the start, that first kill coming from the side of Crew, and the momentum for Furia is almost stopped immediately.
Yeah.
Not as much confidence. They can't work off the audio of Mazine grabbing or MWZero on the flank. You see that death ball of Furia staying together and having to work more dry peaks or off the last bits of utility they have. It's not always easy to get the first kill, though. Digizine's been wild in the first part of this first half. Crew are only answering back now. And that was the first round the spike hasn't been planted. So you see how much Furia is getting to the site, being able to pressure. And Crew finally figures out how to put up a solid wall and stop that.
And just from the replays, reminiscent of what happened a few rounds ago as well, we've seen some success from Furia also in the early rounds of controlling middle. That poison orb that you're trying to put down on mid on the defense there for Nags, it still has a little gap, or the box is on the top. He can't really play that aggressive angle in that one and done position, or really doesn't have that support from the B heavens. But when you're starting to do that for Crew, you're leaving the extremities open, and that's where Furia once again could play those mind games and get control very early like they did and start activating the lurks out from Mazine again.
The operator purchase from Crew as we come out of the timeout. Both teams on timeout, so you have this inkling. You expect your opponent on attack, if that was their timeout, to have a tricky protocol here. And already a different setup on defense from Crew.
Oh, unlucky there as MW0 opened up with 2 kills.
The star timing, just pulling out the star.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, MW0 on point right now and inside the head of Crew on their defensive protocol. A little bit of lurk by Nagzet here, and it looks like they are going to have to give up this space. That was just too quick, too fast, and timeout grabbed for the side of Furia. Talked about it before. They have such a good mindset for using a timeout and being able to make that next round go into their favor, whether it's with an ultimate protocol with Digizine, we've seen it on Ascent, or just a simple strat to make it into sight. There it was MW0's ultimate that you, like you said, grabbed off of that last kill of last round. So the impact it has continues to affect the game.
Yeah, and that's the second time here. Showstopper getting a lot of space for Furia on the hits. The question was coming across here at the desk. Any roles will change, if anything is going to be changing for Furia now that you have Conan, who actually had a lot of experience playing with Debeka in the past as well. In the Brazilian scene as a Raze himself. A couple of Sage roles as well. But you can't forget MW0 on this Raze, who's also very potent. Now it also answers a question of, yeah, it doesn't really look like there's going to be any role issues for Furia. If you do want to have Conan have the switcheroo with MW0, MW0 is also a very, very good Sky player.
Absolutely. Fast W.
For MW.
Yeah, MW going straight forward. This operator is still here for Davies.
And it connects. And that's the responsibility that Davies has. But unfortunately, a trade-off from Pain Shells once again in favor of MW0 and Furia. A 4 versus 4, Kizit trying to push forward and fight back. Satchel charge to break the crosshair placement of MW0, forcing him to fall back in mid.
Huge. Smokes are down. Now it's just Mazine to be able to work that, and they find the Lurker, which has continued to plague Crew in these rounds.
Yeah.
These retakes always been successful once they do find that straggler.
And that was that mid. And they're forced to fall back in the A site with everybody else. Big flash coming through. No connection, but at least Conan is there for the support. The headshot onto Melzer. A 3 versus 3. Reheal trying to come up here. A regrowth. Crossfire set up in the back of the site. A 1-for-1 once again. And it's a 1 versus 1 to see who wins the round. And it's Conan running out of bullets. And Tested getting the defuse. As Crew salvages the round. And we end the half 5-7 in favor of Furia.
Incredible stuff to be able to come back. Furia not being able to hold on to the retakes on a few of these rounds where Crew continue to find their success. And it's clean from both teams, but I am worried of how Crew is going to bring this onto attack without the double duelist.
Yeah, and it's been some great plays whatsoever, at least to start the first half here. Explosive on both ends. Digizine doing his job, but I think it's back to the desk, or should I say the analyst desk with GB, so they could break down that first half.
Thank you so much, Vansilla. Yes, the invisible analyst desk as well. You know, it comes with me wherever I go. But yes, let's go ahead and talk about what we saw in that first half of play there. It was very clear. B, free for Furia. A, not so free for Furia, but free for Crew, evidently. Quite fascinating to see how this played out. And it's good to see that this matchup is as neck and neck as it's been, Mimi.
Yeah, it is. And I think this is kind of defined by two things. On one half for Crew, what they excelled at was these late round retakes, continuing what we saw from them yesterday, where this team is so willing to be really patient in these late rounds. Take the time to regroup, play these set retakes, and they were really effective, particularly on this A site, where I think 4 of their 5 rounds were won.
Yeah, I mean, early on into this half, it was Digizine who was really taking over the game from that clutch on the pistol, then into those calm entries where his crosshair placement was just excellent. Davies would try to swing in, as you do early on the chamber, and was just getting deleted. And then later in the half, it was MW, those explosive entries, double satcheling in on the Raze.
And this gives them a good half on the side of Furia. But now my biggest question is, how does Crew's comp work when they switch on over
that's
to
what
the
Rib was
attack?
asking.
Because with both this Chamber and Astra, I think you really have to slow things down. We saw Furia's successes in these double dive, these really fast executes. When you play with that Chamber, you more so want to take your time, working the map, pushing up into mid, entrenching either your Chamber or Astra into a position where they can find that late round lurk. And I think that does force Crew to really continue to showcase the fundamentals that they've been working on.
And on the opposite side, Furia, they loved running this double duelist throughout the season, but there were a number of games where they got a big advantage on attack side, and then it just slipped away from them on defense.
Yeah.
For Furia, if we expect these really slow retakes from Crew in the first half, it's going to be about these really fast flood retakes with this double duels, and about if they can get Dujas in on that operator. He can take over games if they get to that point.
Well, you know, Riv, you were asking what's going to happen on the other side for Crew. We'll find out here. I know we're curious as well. Let's send it back over to the casters.
Thank you very much, GB. And indeed, now finally our questions will be answered for the second half. And the last time these two teams played on Split, it was literally split 6-6 on the half. The difference this time around, though, for Crew, when they had that success on the attack, though, they were playing that double duelist.
Yeah.
So now that they only have Davies, how do you work that utility around Kest and activating him around the map?
And it's such an expensive role you want to play, too. Do they even go for the operator? But you use that headhunter the same with the way Davies has been playing. Yeah. Questions will be answered quite soon here. Sheriff to start off as usual for Digizin. See if he can make any impact. His A ramp is slowly being taken. Seeing what they can get out of the side of Furia here. Still the rotation by Davies. So that's going to be our lurk. Watching everything, staying in range of the trademark. Being able to give the team audio cues here.
Waiting on the util is Crew. The defensive wall coming down, now forcing Crew to move forward. Allowing Crew to move forward. And pinch against Benzine, who still gets the opener on Davies. Snake butt on the ground. Head on a swivel, support coming through. He goes through his zone! Snakebite to get 2 kills, and we continue once again. Pain shells from MW0. And it's up to Nags on a 4 versus 1. Spike on his back.
Toxin screen down.
As the first contact is the last contact. Conan allows Furia to get the other pistol.
That was absurd. The in-the-moment play from Mazine, getting forced out of a position, realizing his escape was actually covered, and being able to turn around and still make it happen here.
This.
Turn around. Just amazing mindset in the play. You got to do the unexpected. Even with the opponent staring straight down that corner at him, he still comes up with an amazing amount of kills and just stalls out Crew. We get into our bonus now, or next round rather. That was wild. There's Judge ready.
Taking that back.
A little bit too far though, the support on that B side for that Judge in the hands of NW0. Just util instead. Pain shells Nebula, allowing Kesnit to pick up an orb. And as they hear the orb for Furia, that's when they finally move NW0. Locking down the entrance in that B site, and Crew decide to fall back.
Right there.
Might be one pick coming through.
Blocking vision.
Trying to get a TP play. TP's not even needed. Davies just dispatches MW0 with that shot from the headhunter.
Slow play. We've seen Crew yesterday as well play a lot of these rounds slow enough to make it. Just like we talk about Cloud9, EG, how they play their ecos like actual gun rounds with the potential and knowledge that they can hit these sheriff shots and absolutely lay out the rest of the side of Furia.
30 seconds left.
Towards A, they've got a good rotation out of Furia now, so they will have sight, and Digizine's going to be able to make that call.
Long range, Sheriff.
There it is.
Actually in favor of Kesset instead. So another to fall, and Crew well on their way to try to win here at Thrifty, as the plan is now safe for players inside the site. One on the rotate watch, the flank watch, and that's Davies at the A ramp, about to come head to head against the Stinger of Medzine. Meanwhile though, Conan is walking out from screens playing contact. Duels on both ends of the A site, won by both teams, but the disadvantage still comes in for Furia. Flash after flash, a Spectre and a Stinger. A second flash coming through, and that's beautiful to drop the last two players inside the site, leaving only one alive. Davies couldn't get it done. It's Furia's turn to play some great retakes.
Furia continues to hold on to the accolade of being one of the best 4v5 teams in Americas. Absolutely incredible, and that one being a 3v5.
Yeah.
So put another one on the board for him there. Really incredible, recognizing the seriousness that Crew is putting into these ecos, and that Furia can still manage to figure it out and just decipher what Crew wants to get out of this, especially on that retake. Yeah. Nice pile in. Mimi talked about it. You're going to get swarmed a lot of the time from this team, so you got to be ready.
Crew is trying to make that play with the pop flash around the corner, but when you're playing close range with a Stinger and a Spectre and you only have pistols to work with on the post plant, not easy to do. At least they've done that econ damage. Fury won't have too much to work with in our bonus round. 3 Sheriffs and those 2 SMGs that we just talked about. And for Crew, slow takes towards the mid and A-long.
Trying to take space. It's back to, in this composition, it forces you to go back to one of the really just the original meta or play styles we saw is creep up mid, find that space. If you have an operator, the ops first, but they're doing it without that utility right now.
Yeah, just a lot of contact plays here. Conan spotted a few, walking up towards that B. A pop out from the snake bite at the bottom, trying to vulnerable some players. That's Madzine. Also has a Sheriff to work with as he's working the site with Khalil, trying to anchor that down. Snakebite continues to push him away. Leans out towards the right. Does have an angle here. But Nagzit still wins it. Better weapon that he has in his hands. Big flank coming up. That's Digizine. Cannot connect. Finally, a plant comes now for Crew.
Spike planted.
Yep. A little bit of a wonky bounce there, but NW0. No window of opportunity after that. Nebula shuts down the door, and Crew's looking in a good spot here to not lose too many players against Furia's bonus, and hopes to bring the second half back and keep the economy high.
If Kesnet could get this on the search, he gets ultimate. That would be huge. But yeah, Crew playing it safe, knowing they had the gun diff, and that's what we saw at a lot of these trades. Furia did see Crew, but Crew too fast to the shot, too big of a weapon. Thank you very much. I like it. Run. All right, safe. So weapon brought into the next round. Hero rifle. Could see here.
Well, it'll be tied in with
drop the round.
Everything else that they have here for Furia.
Oh, that's true. Coming to the bonus. These rounds are so long. I feel like we're deeper into these rounds. Or into the half. All right. Crowd behind him still. Crew definitely had that. Felt like a home crowd yesterday for sure as they were playing against MIBR. We'll see what they have now, round 16. That bonus operator for Digizine actually. So I feel like this actually plagued Crew a little bit when they had the op on Davies. It made them timid for the retake. If Digizine can't open up here big, then they might have trouble getting back into these sites for post-plan.
Mazine's just trying to play around. Cycling now, smokes. Oh, there was a timing there that Kesnet could have caught Madzine. As the second smoke comes up in vents, Crew's trying to work up towards this B heaven. And Furia, reacting on it, are pushing their 2 players outside B.
This can only work so many times, right? Just the creep up to heaven. They're playing the it won't happen again mentality against Furia. But now Furia goes to check that heaven. Yeah.
Seekers confirms now mid control, but Madzine still gets punished. Being a little bit too ahead of the Seekers. Didn't notice that there was actually a lot of players from Crew. Defaulting now at the beginning of this round on mid. Rotating back from getting that first kill on Vents. Crew's looking to push towards the A site.
30 seconds left.
Digizine and Conan anchoring.
Big flash blinds Kesnet. So he can't value off the satchels in the site. Conan now hiding behind it, but he gets picked through the smoke. And it would allow Crew here to get the plant down. cycling that over. That's Kesnet for the plant, so we can have the showstopper. NWZer just got spotted by Davies, and Davies decides to fall back, putting his trademark down. And now finally anchoring up towards the heavens, but Fury decides instead to save that operator and a 2 rifles for the next round.
It's not too scary of a save at the current position of the game, but that op, like I said, we saw Davies and the team doing the same thing. We had a 4v4 save last half. And the fact that this operator can't either be in the fight already or in position for the fight makes it so tough with all these angles to re-clear and the utility you may have at the late part of the round. So I think Crew get the benefit of this one. Everybody out alive in a flawless round, but it is the save from Furia they have to be aware of.
And that's the thing. I don't know if they're aware that there's an operator yet.
I was wondering the same. I don't know if Digizine fired off a shot or kept himself completely safe on that round, but we know the movement of Crew will tell us as soon as they find it. They should run the other way.
Or run it down.
or run it down. They hear it, and showstopper, still a possibility. Kind of tough to find that dashing Digizine, but it could be a possibility for sure. Frenzy and Sheriff. So it's going to be a supportive round here for Furia, probably holding angles, being around each other and safe until they can get a full idea of what Crew is doing. And Crew is working the map really well. We questioned it, how they would use this comp, not being able to blast in. So far it's been a lot of mid and then branching out into the map. Here a little bit more of a default. They're actually going to leave Davies though, on a mission.
Yeah, very similar roles on different agents.
Yeah, this was
Unseen or
Zane's job.
Davies, the A-ramp control. Now trying to leverage potentially Kesnet for a showstopper entry towards this B site. And I like it that at least he has support here from Klaus. They could use a flash, they could use a body, but it's a wide swing instead. It gets punished for it, but at least they come right back out. No opportunity for Digizine to really get away, and the showstopper goes long range. MWZer dropped down and was able to avoid that showstopper, but Kesnet reacted quick enough to drop him. But 2 players are still inside the spawn for Furia. Nice snake bite. Klaus melting down. But Furia decides otherwise, not to try to explode yet. Off the snake bite left on the ground here by Madzine. Now spotted in the back of spawn at the B site, down to 5 HP. And Furia is just looking to do that damage on the exits.
So you were right, Vance. It was the C, Digizine, and W. It was not the retreat strategy. Yeah. Also, Digizine, a little bit of a forced error there as he went right into the wall, not thinking there was more than Melzer. We get a few exit kills in this situation, but we are going to be brought to 9-8. Kesnet.
Nice shot.
Gross.
Wants to chase after these, keep the economy low. Oh, yeah.
Ruh-roh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, a little body shot, So 3 successful plants to post plants now. And yeah, for a moment, we had Digizine's POV there in the beginning, and you saw there's a hesitation like, oh, it's only 1 frag, but that late entry into main, you saw, made him think different, and Crew already had the advantage at that point and the move.
I knew exactly need this. We've given a lot of praise, actually, to Fury on how they were able to work the attack on this very map of Split, but definitely it's been Crew all along in the second half of Split. Not as quick, not as explosive as Digizine did on his jet roll on the attack, but still finding a lot of value with working Kesnet around the sky. Still leveraging him and also other bodies to continue with the fundamentals of the trades that they're currently doing very well throughout this LCQ for Crew.
Adam with the final words here since they are chatting as well. Fist bumps as well. Davey just on the end there, having a pretty great game on the chamber. It's not something they focused or want Davey to do too much with, but you see how this composition works together and how they're playing it. Nobody's committing too much, and it's all behind what they can get Kesnet to do as well. And here looks like Kesnet's going to be the one that pushes them straight up a ramp or into sight with Tour de Force live and ready.
Oof.
Wait.
Coming through, but it's still Conan to answer first. Cloudburst to try to push them back. Counter flash coming through. And it's a stalemate right after that first kill. After this, the destruction of Klaus through the paper-thin wall of A heaven. Evens up the tally in a 4 versus 4.
Honestly, I don't even know within that chaos if they know there's a Viper's pit mid right now. Because if they did, they may be going forward, realizing there's less people in sight and one still guarding. That was so much mayhem to begin this round. But still going to hold a ramp to see if the movement comes from the side of Furia first. Look at the stacks that they have. Watching the back, watching the front.
Yep.
And trademark is still there, so they're staying within range.
Exactly. That's the responsibility of Davies. Trying to get a tap if anybody's going to overcommit. No duel de force because they have the Vandals to work with, so they're going to save that ult for a later round. Trailblazer to spot the Jazine. Trying to get a spray as the walls are coming through. Nice snake bite, though. MW0 is just going to eat that. Just so they could still continue with the surprise play.
30 seconds left.
Ooh. Meanwhile, though, Digizine drops 2. There's that walk down. Oh, Nagzet still gets the flick. Evens up the tally on a 2 versus 2 this time around with 20 seconds left. Plant coming down safe. But Melzer's very low on HP on the post plant.
You are divided.
Util to drop into the Viper's pits. And we see the Cosmic Divide go through. So this means a lot of ground can be gained. It's just, will Furia be looking at the right corners when they breach this wall?
And this is a great wall, too. 4 crew to use on a post plant. There's no sky flash to go through it, so you have to body peek. Snakebite coming through the wall, so you identify the first player. Now dropping in back of the map. It's up to the low HP. Khalil once again. A star player that you have as a control player, allowing Furia to get the round finally here on the defensive half.
And Mazine playing a little bit of displace the enemy. They use the Viper's bites to basically tell where the players of crew are not. And then give themselves a better advantage once that wall does go down to realize the angles they have to peek. You could even see there the vulnerability on Melzer, so they were hitting him true. Beautifully done there to suss out where the opponents were for the retake. Furia coming up with a pivotal round right there. And they're going to be 10-8 here, putting the pressure on now after that defuse. Blades for Digizine. Khalil now with a Cosmic Divide and that Davey ultimate.
Play, let's play.
Right away. I think they just identified Nags. That was a good flash coming in from Conan. And it's the dry peek. Quick dismiss for a look here.
Miles ready.
Faust, meanwhile, has picked up an orb here, but a Trailblazer was avoided by Nags all the way down towards long. So Furia's pushing down this area at that A ramp, thinking that they might have that control. And this might allow crew to work towards middle. Back in the vents for that flash, okay. Digizine just spotted Nagzet. A 1v1, dash activated! No! Once again, face plants into the wall. And Nagzet gets the first blood.
Gonna retreat from the area too. Just quick trade in mid, calling the attention of Conan to keep rotating around.
Sometimes you gotta make those plays. Player disadvantage for Furia.
Oh my god.
Trying to even it up. There's a timing from Conan. He's made it through the spawn.
Here.
This might allow crew still, no matter what, to get a plant. But Furia might be in a great spot for the retake. Khalil now in the back of the site, breaking a boom bot, and also breaking his crosshair placement. Conan left alive on a 3 versus 1, and already pre-fired by Nagzet. And crew once again are 1 round away of tying up the game.
Back and forth, and there Nagzet at the end, the 6th sense all the way through spawn, backpedaling to make sure that was available. Oh, Digizine. That moment when you think you have such an upper hand on your opponent, you say, I see you're flashed over the box. I want to get another position. Gets caught in the rotation to find that positioning. And you see the crew fans are loving it right now. Back and forth we go. Bladestorm still there for Digizine. And it comes out immediately. So Klaus, in the end of this round, they'll be able to use the Seekers if they don't have enough of an idea where Furia is. And while not speeding anything up, crew is doing a great job.
What a flash. Davies turns away, only Hive blinded, but it allows DJZ to move down, right click and pick up a rifle. Naxa looking to punish, but unfortunately doesn't work out. Nice first blood there for Furia.
Toxin screen down.
And with that as well, you have a reposition from Madzine right here. And Naxa may not be ready for this. Crew trying to make some noise now, trying to gain some map control on the top of B. Evens it up on a 1v1. There's a lurk play, never checked. Big check, almost lost by Madzine.
Double take. 3v3 now. It's going to be cross map again. They have done this before.
Madzine continues to be very good with that utility, pushing Crew back into B heaven.
Conan.
Where Conan's currently waiting. First shot there, capitalize on the second one.
My
gosh.
And that
30
is
seconds
some
left.
crisp shot for a player that hasn't played for at least 90 days. Feels like he is still playing like he was still in Tibica.
Like riding a bike. Honestly, looking at what he was doing on the retakes of first half, he was always getting 1 or 2 frags. His crew tried to get in and defend and defuse the spike. So having impact frags all throughout, even if you're not seeing headshot after headshot after headshot, Conan is fitting in incredibly for the intensity of the situation.
Meanwhile, though, Furia thought that they had the round. Klaus slipped through, got the plant down. He's playing the mind game.
Oh.
He's planning as if they'll make him think that he's not playing heaven, and finally he gets spotted.
Now he goes back to screen. Yes.
And with that,
Reposition.
has his 2 flashes available too on his 1v1. Madzina walking inside the B site. There's that tap.
You have to know.
Klaus is looking for the timing. No flash needed. Klaus with the Red Bull clutch.
Wow. Have like 2 or 3, at least 2 4Ks between the series yesterday and today. An ace for himself yesterday, Klaus. All right, must have changed the batteries or recharged his mouse because this is incredible play here. And Madzine there expecting to hear the drop, waiting to hear the drop.
Yeah.
Didn't even stop at half. So you can just see how far ahead Klaus is in these situations of his opponents. Incredible stuff from him recently. All right, towards A. Deep Trailblazer goes through, and it looks like a whole squad of Crew is going to take this, but it's still this 1-1, or I'd say 2-3 across the map that is played slow by Crew. This is now Crew expecting Furia to peak, to come out just a little bit, and give up some information.
They want to give an indication that they want to potentially do a piss around strat of working the A ramp back down towards middle. Furia just looking with utility to be more reactive. Seekers are out very early in this round. 1 minute left on the clock. But there's no face checks behind that.
All right. Everyone to A side. Spike's going to go towards heaven to start here. We actually might end towards B if they don't get the result of kills they want on this strategy. Crew has been trying to throw Furia for a loop, and I would not put a cross-map plant by them here.
Davies with the operator in the range of the trademark. A flash across, Klaus first
30
blood.
seconds left.
Now the A ramps under control by Crew, but still 2 players are inside the A site. Both raises getting kills next.
That's A
dropping
now.
out the defense on the A site. Digizine looking for an opportunity at least to do some heroic plays and allowing Furia to come back in the round. But if a couple of seconds more dwindle here, especially with this smoke, this might be the call finally to save.
And both teams putting strength in the op this late on split here, hoping that Davies or Digizine can be a huge factor in turning this round into an instant 5v4 in their favor. Another save to make sure this operator can make that a possibility next round. And Crew, they have that momentum. They talked about it, being able to just steamroll over their opponents. It just gives them that confidence. Oh my gosh. 2 ultimates to use next round too, Van Silly. Good kill.
An opportunity though to punish. One's dropping here towards the spawn. Dash away. Whew. Hiding in the smoke. So the op's still there, but no matter what, Crew takes the lead in this game on their map pick on this map.
Yeah, Furious pick. You don't think it's going to be true.
30 seconds. Spike
I have the spike.
We'll see if they can pick it back up. All right. Now to attack side.
It's important not to save here for Furia on that previous round with Khalil in that Vandal. For the rest of them, not too much to work with unless they could do something with the showstopper. It's time for Furia to do a little bit what Crew did on that pistol round, to push aggressively down on that middle. But no opportunities to punish. As when Nagzet saw that member, he fell back and is just waiting for Crew to pinch back on the other end of the map. But Furia has none of that information besides that Viper that they saw in sewers.
I've been watching Nags a lot to see what kind of util he's throwing out or how much he's messing with his wall here. I feel like it's messed Furia up quite a bit. They're ready for mailroom this time, though, Vansili.
Headshot down from Madzine, Snakebite on the ground. Vulnerable on 2 players, and the Spikes on an island by himself on the top of the mailroom. At least finally, after that first initial chaos, is able to get met up by his teammates. And Crew at a disadvantage are looking to split in the B site, but that's where 3 players are at for Furia. Showstopper denied by Khalil. An off kill now for Davies. We turn it back around for Crew. It's a 3 versus 3. Weapon advantage. A push across.
Khalil?
Off angle by Khalil. Now pitched in from hell. A shot from Davies. Up to Conan on a 2 versus 1. Picks up a Phantom. A pit comes out. Oh, Davies once again on fire on the attack with the operator. Plus Crew at that point.
The question was, could they get to the op? Was the tour de force enough? How was Davies going to play this chamber? Coming now in for Crew on split, and we're seeing it come to fruition here. Absolutely laying down the shot for the rest of the team covering. And Davies coming in from behind too. They were just not ready for this.
I'd like to think that they were. They had 3 players in there on that stack, on that B site for Furia.
You expect to see that op be one of the first peekers, though.
Oh, yeah.
Not to be getting railed by 1 and 2, 3, 4 as they come into the site. Push mid.
A trade-off. A timing to try to punish MW0, but still a 4 versus 4. And that's 2 key players falling down. Both operators for Crew and Furia.
Seekers is ready. They can just string this round out if they don't want to go B and figure out where the opponents are. Oh, my MD using huge play. Huge play!
But the help from Klaus just add the 3rd player moving through. Crew are 2 kills away of winning this first map. The last time it was dead even in a situation where Crew let this lead slip and Furia won at 13-11. Now Crew finally has a chance for revenge and to close it right now. Plant for long. And all the stars aligned here on the spike. Difficult for Conan to retake here with Madzine. Both on individual plays. Conan looking for at least a contact play. Noise being made towards B heaven. There's that first peek. Overheat jumps! Still gets the headshot to Melzer.
They heard 2 Vandals.
And there it goes. No
the
stars
defuse
that could get done.
The defuse!
To the defuse! They can't spare it! The Red Bull clutch from the sub here of Furia. Conan steps up and they stand a chance to bring this into overtime.
Is Conan professional enough to get in here and play was the question. Well, pros don't fake. The answer is solidified. Conan having a hell of a game and a huge defuse to keep Furia in split.
And despite that, it's Madzine defusing, but I'm calling Conan for that huge kill that he got on Melzer. Because Crew were playing on those stars with the Gravel and the Nova Pulse. And it got denied off Conan. An accidental jump still gets that kill to allow the defuse to happen in the smoke. But Crew, not shook by what just happened, gets first blood this time around. Round 24 in regulation.
Blinded.
That being Furia's first retake there in 4 rounds. And a huge one at that. They needed it a lot. Cosmic Divide ready for the retake. We've seen how Furia uses that. If it is going to be an A plant, this might benefit Furia here so they can get themselves into that A site for the attack we've seen them use. Slow push out here from Khalil. They're repositioning and trying to get this info before they give Crew too much space. This makes it much more dangerous, though, because now Crew has a way onto the defensive side.
Lots of pressure on A main. And with that, the A ramp is open. A heaven is also open. Cosmic Divide onto defense. Thundering through our Crew on the top of the site. But Conan once again. Guardian dropping 2. One hit by the Satchels. We're going into overtime.
Van Silly, cast your mind back to the regular season. At what point did we see Crew fall apart in their games?
Right there.
Right at the end, right on the precipice of victory, they start to fall apart. And here, Conan with the Guardian, able to start dismantling Crew enough for Furia to close this out of regulation and bring us into overtime. What? They knew it the whole time. We did not see any bit of reluctance from Furia in those last few rounds, pushing forward, gaining aggressive positions, and just getting in the face of Crew to bring us into OT. Now the pressure is on. Crew, who are in position to win their pick, and now not so certain.
But Furia is still a team that has found some decent success on this map throughout the regular season of the Americas. Already starting things off on a pause. Furia doesn't want to let Crew run with any type of momentum, because First Blood seem to have been shining in favor of Crew on their attack half. And of course, tactical timeouts mean tactical bears, as we just saw here on the screen. But yeah, I gotta say here, it's gonna be hopefully Crew. They've talked in the interviews from Coach Adam about the mental, about their position of where they were when they got that victory against MIBR. 0-9 throughout the regular season. And now they have to keep their mental strong. A moment where they actually got the fuse on a 2 versus 1. Make that even a 3 versus 2 on a pulse plant. And now they have to try to win here on their defensive side, starting things off in overtime number 1.
And the operator stays for Davies.
That's right. Blast cannon. Satchels across. Wall comes up. And that's MW0 taking control of that. Now in the front, fully blinded. Dash across with the Jazine. A 1-for-1 bootbot kill onto Davies. And it's Furia all across the board.
The pressure you can see running through these players on the take there. A few mistakes allows Furia the sight. Almost without a death. Conan goes down though, and now Melzer and Nags forced to push in. A pit 2.
How annoying is
just
that?
To add.
2 kills a plant. Pit available.
Gun here.
And no Sky to help out the retake for Crew. A position where they were so good at yesterday against MIBR. Now they have to face the music against 4 players. The show ends for Nagsit, leaving Melzer in a near impossible situation. Wow. Was trying to bait out players by running around. And it's back to Furia in the lead. But not only that, at map point.
Match point.
Furia remembers those last 2 rounds that brought him to OT. Stay in the face of Crew. And Crew use their timeout. Hopefully Adam has that information. A has been a priority here for Crew. The A ramp control, allowing the movement of Furia to figure out where they are. We've also seen success from Crew once they go towards mids, once they go towards mailroom, and then we might have a rope room play. They've had so many things that have worked.
Exactly, you've named them all, and that's what Furia's, the advantage that Furia currently has in terms of the conditioning that they've done against Crew on their attack half, because think about it again, on the first few rounds, lots of B control, lots of B pressure. Then you have some A control, then you have Digizine working that mid. So it really comes down to, yes, what has Adam picked up so far in those 24, make that even now 25 rounds overall? And where can they actually shut down Digizine early in the round, because he's going to be the man to look out for.
And operator versus operator as we get in here. 2 glass cannons to come through. We'll keep an eye on Digizine. So far over at A, and the other operator is going to be mid. Back to that strategy of slowly creeping up, gaining position in the first angle with Davies. So eyes on him to start. B main control looks like it may be close up here for Khalil. That could be quite dangerous if it goes that side. Double jump peaks.
So that was the plan.
Huge info.
Trying to punish Medzine on the top of ramp, or the top of vents rather. Doing a good job actually cycling the first pieces of utility on that mid control. Nebula already coming out. Poison Orb on the attack side for Nags. So he's trying to keep players anchored from Furia on that A site, forcing a Trailblazer as well. So this is actually a really good start here for Crew on working that map. Less utility available for Furia on the hold. Oof. 1 HP left.
There's such good info right now from Digizine. He can actually see through this wall, so it going up and down is not affecting Furia's defensive positioning.
It's going to be the call after the Poison Orb coming down. Davies just waiting here, aiming down the sight of his operator. He's not going to spot anything yet.
30 seconds left.
And as the smoke dissipates, you also see NW0 falling back here on an off angle in the B side. Big flashes coming through, but Khalil still on the top of the boxes. This might be it. Next! Just got dropped by NW0, and Furia managed to fight back, climb back, bring it to overtime, and win it.
Furia had lost their last 2 overtimes to Lev and Sentinels, but not again. They right that ship, they find the win here, and even down a few rounds. Figure out how to stave off the pressure that Crew was bringing from the attack side by pushing up on the patience Crew was using, getting in their face a little bit more and not allowing so much space just at the beginning of each site. Digizine starting off the pistol round in fashion here. And the team was able to end in OT fashion for this first map.
Furia did a great job there despite using a lot of utility in the first part of the last round. The position that they had, the stack that they have across, giving false information, false hope that Crew would be able to make it into the B site has been on point for that round and on point overall for them to be able to come back, but it had to come down to heroic plays as well. If it didn't come down to Conan, the first one, playing his first game now during LCQ and getting that kill to allow that, I would almost call it a ninja defuse inside that smoke there.
Yeah, that was a huge defuse. There were a lot of 2Ks, like I said, single site frags that Conan had absolutely playing his part, and I almost think topping the scoreboard for the squad too. Up there 17, 18, 19 frags on this one, and Furia did not miss a beat with a sub.
We'll have a chance to fight back at least for Crew, and that's gonna happen after the break.